I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are
The SG Boys, that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at The SG Boys.
Who's your daddy?
We have two very special guests joining us right now, Sam Joe. We actually found them on Instagram, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And not just one, but two of them. It's
Were you stalking us?
a little bit. A little bit.
Because we actually, I think you guys DM'd us at one point. You listened to the SG Boys podcast and
Yes.
your username caught our eye. And I realized, and not just Sam Joe and I, Rachel as well. Josh, they're called double dads. They're two dads. And even though we run a gay podcast in Singapore, this is very, very rare. So with us right now, we have Cameron and Andre.
Glad to be
Thank
here.
you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you. We reached out because when we heard the SG Boys, we did have a little bit of a kind of
Listening
feels.
party? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The things that we love listening to you guys while we're working. Yeah, so we just put it on in the background and we'll just listen in, and we go, oh my goodness, like, oh, they've got this guest or this, the issues
We'll
that they're
laugh
talking
along.
about. You laugh along. And we, growing up in Singapore, I kind of know what you guys are going through. And I have to say that I'm older than you guys, so I've kind of lived a little bit longer.
Only slightly.
Only slightly, yes. Yeah. But I do relate that. I do understand what you guys are going through and some of the topics that you guys have raised as well. And so that's the whole reason why I reached out and just like messaged you guys and saying that how wonderful you guys are doing on the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it may be common in other countries, but certainly not in Singapore.
Definitely,
So
yeah.
I was quite pleasantly surprised when I saw double dads and I see two beautiful men in love, in a relationship with a child. And I have so many questions. I know, Sam Joe, you prepared a whole list of questions to ask as well. This is very exciting for the two of us, but I do want to preface it. If I happen to ask any question that makes you feel uncomfortable, or if I'm not using the right terminology, if it offends you, please put me in my place. Let me know so that we can all learn together.
Oh, not a problem.
Not a problem.
Usually what we'll say is that if you dare to ask, we will answer you. We'll give you the answer that you
Yeah.
want.
We
don't shy away from any questions.
We like to educate as well, If you've got questions, feel free to ask.
So my first question is something that is not a question that just the everyday person in Singapore, heterosexual person, is going to ask. Even within the LGBTQ plus community in Singapore, they're going to ask this question, which is, double dads, how is this possible?
Surrogacy. So we have our little boy, 2-year-old Tyler, through surrogacy in Canada. So, I mean, in the world, there are many different countries that you can have surrogacy or you can have children through surrogacy, but we chose Canada because it's an altruistic process.
BT friendly. The Canadian people are lovely. We had an amazing surrogate. At the end of the day, we have this amazing, beautiful little boy.
Yeah. The journey was quite long.
Yeah.
It was long. It was expensive as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't come cheap. It's not like a heterosexual couple that can pop out a child and be very quick and
We always focus on the end goal.
Yeah.
So when you see the little baby coming out and you know that your life's changing from that moment,
Yeah.
it's such a wonderful feeling, and everything that you have gone through, the years of planning, the years of coming up with all this money, you just don't know whether you actually get to the end. Just goes away.
the ups and downs. It was about a 3-year process that we went through from the start of going down a surrogacy path to when Tyler was born, and there were a lot of ups and downs during that time.
Yeah.
Some really stressful moments, but as Andre said, the little bundle of joy we were given at the end, that really fades off.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
never cried so much.
I was going to ask you if you cried. Of course you did.
Yes,
Of
I was
course
like
you did.
bawling my eyes out, and you just couldn't believe it. Like, that's the end. Like, that's the moment that you've been waiting for so long, and you have got this beautiful woman. I mean, she's obviously she's lying on the on the bed, and she's like pushing out this watermelon. But it's kind of like,
And yes, we were
oh
that
my God,
end.
yeah, we were at that end. We saw everything, but she wanted us to look, and it's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah.
We always tell people, if you're in a birthing room and you can get the opportunity to watch a birth, go for it. Like, it's so beautiful. I know a lot of husbands or a lot of people, they just don't like to watch it. They just
they're
feel a
too
bit
scared,
queasy.
yeah.
Or they faint.
Too
or
much
something
blood
like
and
that.
stuff.
Too much blood. But no, it's so beautiful. I never thought. I mean, come on, you spend so much money, you must as well just get the full show, right?
Can I take you guys all the way back to the beginning, even
Sure.
before
Yeah.
you looked at each other and went, we want to have a kid, right? How did you two meet? I'm the both of us, we're actually romantics at heart here.
Yeah.
So we want the full tea, the full lowdown. And how did two of you meet? And what was your love story?
You
And-
can-
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can tell that. You can tell that story. That's fine.
Wow. All right. So I was living in Sydney. Cameron was living in Geelong, which was about an hour and a half drive out of Melbourne, CBD. I was in Melbourne for a long weekend,
Australia Day.
and I was living with friends, and I was single. So what did I do? I went onto this platform called Growler. Have you heard of Growler?
Growler.
Yes.
Have you heard of Growler?
No.
Is it the grinder for bears?
Yes, it
It's
is.
not very popular here in Singapore, right? I don't think.
The way
Clearly,
they lit
I
up.
would know and not
Oh my
Josh.
gosh, I actually really don't. I know. I've heard of
Really?
Scruff.
Scruff is very popular there, but
Yeah.
it's more for the, I want to meet for something.
Okay.
Yeah, Growler, you can go down that path as well. but
Growl
that's
for
it.
love.
Yeah.
Growler was a little more. You could have somewhat of a meaningful conversation rather than
yeah.
just put a dick pic.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and
I think now
where do you want
times
to
have
meet?
changed. I don't know about
Possibly,
now.
yes,
But
possibly.
back then it was like, it's kind of a bit more, it wasn't too racy. Yeah. So anyway, so I was chatting on that, and
This was 2014.
yeah, that was 2014. So usually apps like this, if you talk about Scruff, talk about Grindr, it's all proximity based.
Yes.
So you don't get anybody more than a certain number of kilometers outside on your profile, on listed on your feed, on your dashboard. But he was.
Maybe it was because it
And
was
I
going
didn't
across
know.
the water.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was water
No, but it's
in
still
between.
really far away. Yeah. So I just chatted, and I didn't really know that, where he was and stuff. I just wanted to chat because I knew that I was going to be there only for the long weekend. When I asked him, so where are you? And he said he was at this place. I have no idea where that was. So I checked the map, and I was like,
I said,
you are
Google it.
so far away. And I said, I can't believe that you're on my, on my phone. I'm going to be leaving for Sydney in the next in 2 days' time. So I was just wondering whether do you want to catch up, because I don't think that I will I have ever spoken with anybody who give me that much satisfaction in a chat.
We agreed to meet at, of all places, Crown Casino. So I liked that because it's a public place. If it didn't work, if it was a bit sus, you could kind of
Can
just
turn around and mingle with
disappear.
the crowds quite easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be protective like that. And then we sat down in the window of the restaurant having dinner, and I think the first question we asked each other,
Maybe not the first question. Maybe it was like one of the first few questions.
Yeah,
Was
so do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
That was really
we just went straight.
we
to
weren't
that
beating
question.
around the bush. It was
Yeah.
kind of
I think that the thing is, when you come to a certain age, you don't fuck around anymore. You don't. Hey, let's ask all the fluffy questions. Let's
Life's
go and
too
date
short.
for like 10 years, and then after that, you go, oh, what is it in life that you want? It's like, seriously, get it out there. If you don't want, then that's fine. We just have that nice dinner and we just, walk away, because we know that we just don't fit in each other's lives.
And we were
you
lucky.
said,
Yeah, I said
you
definitely,
yes. And I was like,
definitely.
oh my goodness, it's like me too. And we started talking about how many wine a family, like what kind of family, and we started going from there to like, what's a family life like? What's my family life like? What's the view on, what's our life going to look like, like for ourselves? Like what
You talked about all this on the first date.
yeah, we did. No,
That was
it's very
we
weird,
did.
right?
Oh,
Is
it
it
was very
weird?
productive. No.
I was
I know.
exactly
Look.
that. I love that you did that. You already set not just the boundaries, but you also set your goals
Yes.
in this dating process,
Yeah.
right?
I've been out on
Yeah.
dates with your typical gay guy that really thought his life was buying LV handbags and, going to the gym 5 days a week, and kids were just not the accessory that they wanted. And that really wasn't me. Just because I'm gay, that doesn't preclude me from wanting to have a family and
Yeah.
kids and things like that. There's nothing to say that we can't equally be just as good, if not better in some areas than other couples, you know?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It must have been a very special night when you meet someone, because in my mind, I don't know about you, Samjo, but like I've always wanted to be a dad, and I kept thinking that all the way till I was like maybe 27, 28, and then it kind of hit me that my friends all popping out kids, and I don't think that little aspiration to be a father.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd make a really great dad. You know, like I feel that in my bones, but I'm starting to look at it and be real about it, as they say. Like, okay, I don't think it's actually going to happen in my lifetime.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where you kind of abandon that dream because you're gay in Singapore. You don't know how this is going to even work out.
Are you still, wait, you're still thinking like that?
A little bit, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, yeah.
No. I
Please-
think you
please-
should just retract
please-
back. Like, you just take a step back. Because if that's your dream, you can always achieve it. You're still young, by the way. We do have friends who are single dads who have gone through surrogacy and they are by themselves because they want a family. You don't need a partner, number one, to have a child.
Okay, you don't make me cry. Okay, wait. No, I just gotta. I know I'm not the only one, right? I feel like a lot of gay couples as well.
Yes.
They have let go of that conversation about being like, do you think you'd be a great dad? You know, that question, because they're also like deathly afraid of their partner saying, oh, we're never going to have kids anyway. There's no chance, you know, and then you're going to feel horrible for asking. So you just kind of keep it to it. Like, it's just going to be cats and dogs and that's it, you know? So they don't even want to go to that question. So I just think what I find so remarkable about your date was you went straight to what I consider unattainable.
You know, after walking away from that, even though we have asked the questions, you know, at the back of your mind, you'll go, yeah, you'll say anything, won't you? You know, like that kind of thing.
First date.
Yeah,
first
that
date.
first date. Now, we just asked the question, but you can say whatever just to keep me here. I went back to Sydney.
And then we
the
chatted
next day.
every day.
You said that you are happy to do the whole long distance thing.
Because I lived in Geelong, and 30 minutes from my office was Avalon Airfield. So basically I could jump on a plane at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday and be in Sydney by 5 o'clock. So, and then on the Monday morning, leave early and be back in my office by 9:15 a.m.
So you would take turns to fly to each other every
Yeah,
weekend.
depending on what we had on.
The plane became like our bus.
We never got on a flight together the same time until October, when we flew here to Singapore for my milestone-ish birthday.
The romantic in me, which is all of me, is
Really?
just like freaking out because this is a Netflix drama that I want to see. It's I just think it's the most beautiful thing, right? When you see someone and you can think of all the different reasons of this may not work out because of this, or this is going to be troublesome, this is going to take up a lot of time, and what are my friends going to think of this? Am I delusional? But you just like, this is someone that I'm connecting with. I choose this person, and
You've got
I
same
will do
goals.
whatever I can to see this person, even if it means taking the plane like it's taking the bus.
Yes.
Well, yeah. And look, it was harder for Andre really than me because Andre was uprooting from his friends that he'd had in Sydney. The commitment was there on both sides. We wanted to make this work.
We needed to come together anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really important than to do the whole long distance and living separately. Going back to that very first few questions that we asked each other about family, about having kids. It's very difficult to have kids or to go through that plan while you are away, like where you're separated.
Why did you end up in Singapore? I'm looking at a gay couple. I'm looking at two dads. Right now, or at least how things have been for a while here in Singapore, I wouldn't put that as your final destination for this family.
Well, it was very interesting. We've got business in Australia and we've got business here in Singapore. Until Andre met me, he would come back and visit his family in Singapore. I guess I'm the one that really liked Singapore. I know there are certain areas that are challenging, but here in Singapore, there's got a lot going for it. The greenness, the lushness, you know, the food culture, great transport, and things that Singaporeans maybe take for granted. And as the Caucasian person coming in, being in Australia and growing up all my life there, was sort of refreshing. You know, I grew up on a farm, and sort of coming to the big city was a bit different. It was a sea change. We planned this pre-COVID, and the other idea was we were going to be able to travel because it was going to be a base, and that very quickly went out the window. If we came over here, we could work, we could go back to Australia regularly. You know, we'd have some help to help out with Tyler, get around the region and explore.
Yeah.
So before Tyler came along, when was the moment that the both of you knew you're going to spend the rest of your life together? You're going to get married?
Part of that was we knew we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. It was going to be a case of whether it's going to be legal or not. So we'd started going down the surrogacy process for Tyler, and we were waiting on the marriage equality vote effectively in Australia to determine what was going to happen with wanting to get married. Like, we knew that we wanted to make that commitment, I guess.
We got engaged in Paris. The thing was, Cam was already planning to pop the question as well at around that time. And I also was planning around the same time.
And we had a particular favourite brand of jewellery that we liked, and a very good friend of ours was helping me choose the ring, and we were going to say this is what would be nice for
That
Andra.
is your story.
No,
Yes, because you wanted to go down that path.
I know, but you didn't know about this. It was going to be a surprise.
No.
I had picked the ring with my friend, and then I'd taken Andre in to have a look at it before we left to come to Singapore and then go to England. And he said, "Oh, I hate that ring."
I did not use such strong words. I said, I don't like it.
Well,
I will not use hate.
I kind of was shattered, and then I called my friend, and she said, "Oh no."
I knew that any kind of jewelry is going to come into this scenario, like for proposal, it will be that brand. I'm not going to give that to him. So I designed my own, selected the material, selected the diamonds, and put everything together and made one special, one that fits your finger.
So at the top of the Eiffel Tower,
Yeah. So we were looking at the view, and I heard this little voice on the side, and it just goes, "Babe, will you marry me?" And I was like, "What? What did you say?" I was like, "Seriously, what are you talking about?"
and he goes, "Where's the ring?" And I went, "Interesting story on that." And started telling, and he goes, "No ring, not official."
Yeah, it was like, loophole.
You're very happy, right, actually?
Yeah, I was.
Turns out he
I
was.
was like, yes. And I was like, oh, that's great. No, I mean,
And then we were booked to go
but
to
I felt so bad because I had to say no.
Yes.
I didn't say no. I just kind of went, okay, don't ask me now. Yeah, I don't want to ask. Let's just look at the
We went to a
scenery.
very expensive restaurant up the Eiffel Tower and had to sit there.
And you just kept asking me,
Yes.
so how about that question that I asked? I said, I already told you, no ring, no, it's,
And it was really expensive, and the best thing I can say about the meal was the bread was good and the view was good. So that wasn't...
So you were freaking out. Poor Cam
and
there.
I was like,
breaking
I
on
felt
cold
bad.
sweat. Yeah.
Like, how about me? I said, I was like, oh my God, like, can't we wait for tomorrow? Because I also planned the next day. We planned the next day. And then we woke up. The next day. I said, hey, let's go for the, what's that called?
Sunrise.
The sunrise. We just go across the water to the Trocadero or whatever that structure thing and look across the river to the Eiffel Tower. It was quite romantic.
And I asked him on the bridge again, and he told me, "Will you stop asking me this question?
I
No
said, could
ring,
you
not
just-
official."
Yeah, could you just stop asking me? You're just trying to irritate me, right? Yeah. And he was like, oh, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, never mind. It's gonna be 10 minutes. 10 minutes more, 15 minutes more, and you'll find out like what's going on. Yeah. And so we got there, and and I said, hey, look, Cam, you remember the dream that I told you about? Now, let me just tell you now. Since we're standing here watching the Eiffel Tower, you must have to say something, right? So I told him the dream. You had a ring, like funny. You proposed to me, and I took you away, and I woke up. That happened, is freakishly happened yesterday. But the things that the difference between my dream and what happened yesterday was that you did not have the ring. But it's okay because I've got them. I said, I've got the ring. I said, that's it. What? I said, it's here. And I've got a little like compartment in my jacket.
Oh my gosh. Cam is just showing us this gorgeous picture of the Eiffel Tower in the background, and then in the foreground,
Yes.
It's Andre kneeling down and opening a ring box and guessing.
He even had booked the photographer that was shooting this.
No way.
Yes, I did. Instagram is such a wonderful thing.
This is like what happens in movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks absolutely perfect. Can we use this for the album episode artwork?
Yeah.
This is stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was funny because after I did, they said, "Oh, let's have a selfie." I said, "What selfie?"
And it was snowing and everything.
No, it wasn't. It was just the fog.
Yeah.
Oh, the fog, but it looks so romantic. Like,
It does. People said, "Oh, was that a green screen?" No, we were actually there. Then we told the parents.
I told the parents,
Was interesting.
yeah.
Mine were like, "Oh, it's late at night here. Got to go to sleep." Came back to Singapore after all that, and you saw your family, and
Yeah.
well, yes, we didn't think initially they'd come to the wedding.
Yeah, my parents. Okay,
were they not supportive?
They were not really thrilled at the fact that we were getting married.
Yes.
Because they were, obviously they were in a certain religious group.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was just a little bit difficult having to tell them that, okay, this is what's happening. It's legal in Australia, and we want to do that. They just said, initially said no, but they did actually ask my parents asked the religious head, and the religious head said, okay, fine, if you want to go, that's your family anyway, but go there and you focus more on the fact that they found happiness in each other.
Yes.
Don't think of it as a wedding.
Yeah, don't think of it as a wedding. Don't think that you're going there, having a wedding, and it'll just tear you apart. So if you focus on happiness that they're found, it's easy for you to get through it.
And Andre's parents have been really good. They've come a long way in a very short time in terms of embracing Andre being gay, our relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I think for parents, I find that you have to give and take. That whatever that's given to me or whatever that they've shown me in terms of acceptance, that's enough for me. Right now, currently, they love Tyler to bits.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing to me. I don't really care whether they love me or not. It becomes a different level.
Yeah.
Once you have children, your kids become like forefront of everything.
Yeah.
So if you want love and wealth and stuff, you don't care for yourself anymore. You care about that for your kids. As long as my parents show love to our kid, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Whereas for your parents are so easy. Your parents are like,
Yes.
yeah, let's get married. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. My mother in particular thought that when I came out as gay to her that would mean no grandchildren, and I'm an only child, and that was very important to her. And, I kind of had to say, well, see, this doesn't mean that you're not going to have grandchildren, you know.
So that's why.
Which is why your story today is like so... Are you okay,
Yeah.
Josh? Okay, I feel like Josh is getting teary right now. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you need
yeah.
tissue?
I
that's
don't
fine.
know whether you want me to like...
I'm okay. Don't
Okay,
worry.
if you need
Yeah.
tissue,
Which is why-
just holler.
Okay.
But which is why you guys' story is like so important, like, and because there is that myth that every gay boy, when figuring out his sexuality, that I mean, I was one of them as well, growing up thinking, oh no, like, I kind of want kids, but if I'm really gay, back in the day when I was still battling with like my identity and everything, that means no kids. Eventually we get over that, but then it's convincing the people around us, like our parents, fellow family members who may place that hope on you, especially if you're in like an Asian family setting, and if you're the only male kid in the family, you're supposed to so-called quote unquote pass on the family name.
Yeah.
It's just all wrapped up in all of this, and it's so unhealthy to like think that, like, that just because you are gay it means you cannot have kids.
They're
That's
not
true.
mutually exclusive.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. And thanks for, and I say thank you not just for saying that, but for showing it. Like, you two are like a living, breathing example of how it's possible. And I think that's why our dear Joshua Simon here is getting a little bit emotional.
Yeah, I am, because like I'm the only son in my family as well, and
so you have got you
two
have
sisters.
Yeah,
I have two
I've got a
sisters.
sister as well.
Yeah, and my dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of years and years of feeling like I've always been the odd one out. It's always my fault, and I'm trying to sort of make all this work. And I know like my mom would be so happy to have a child, and I'm in a relationship right now. She doesn't really acknowledge it sometimes. It can be a bit tough.
Yeah.
And I am out to my parents now. little things like I'll be cooking for my boyfriend, right? And my mom will be like, who are you cooking for? And I'm cooking for my boyfriend. Can you help me with this? And she'll be like, I can help for all your friends. You know, I can cook for all your friends. You don't need to say that. You know, I'm like, but he's my boyfriend. Don't say this type of things. You know, so my mom's like that.
Yeah.
Like she knows it, but she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to recognize it. But I know if we had a kid or if we were to get married, I think that would give them also a very different impression of
That's
what
true.
a relationship is in a gay couple.
A child will change everything. Will change the way people look at things, including
Makes
your parents.
everything better.
Yeah.
Like a grandchild, you put a
it's
baby
amazing.
there is no way any grandparent
Yeah.
can look at that child and not go, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
I've
not
gotta
gonna
love it.
acknowledge you.
Yeah.
It's very, very different.
Whatever
because-
prejudice or preconceived notions and ideas that they would have had, the moment they look at the child, they're like, okay, this child is loved and I'm also
Yes.
going to love this child.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm not sort of chasing something to obtain to prove to them that, you know, my relationship is real. Unfortunately, this is just kind of that weird space that I'm in right now, where sort of I think a lot of, especially the older generation, like my parents' generation, they view gay people as just like really promiscuous, because for them it's like this is sin, right? So this is committing a sin. So they are people who practice that sin.
Well, that's how it's portrayed here, which is the
exactly. And there's no such thing as sort of a loving gay relationship. It's either something wrong with their behavior, where they're not masculine, they're feminine, or there's sort of a perverse nature with how they view sex. There's no such thing as a lovely relationship where people respect and care for each other.
No such thing as a lovely same-sex family.
Right.
I think that
family is not even part of this concept. You know?
I think we really need to stop, you know, thinking of like not just gay but LGBTQ as antithetical to this concept of family, right? Why can't you be both? Like, why can't I be pro-family and want to have kids and you know, and wanna basically want a family portrait as well and be gay at the same time, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I think that so many of us have just been raised to believe that, you know, that's not possible.
The sad thing is that what probably the average person doesn't know, there is actually quite a large community of gay same-sex couples with kids here in Singapore.
In Singapore?
There is, yes.
Really?
There is. Like there's, you know, we're part of a daddy's group. Not that daddy's. let me just clarify that.
I was like, I'm part of a daddy's. No, I'm not.
When we first came to Singapore, we thought, oh, we're going to be the only gays and a child in the village kind of scenario. And we ran into
A couple. They saw Tyler.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, is that your kid? Is that your child? They said, yes. I said, oh, we've got kids too. They said, how many? 2 twins. And I'm like, oh, really? Wow. They said, you know, there's a community here in Singapore. Let me just hook you up. Great. There are so many same-sex couples here who are fighting, who are desiring for that opportunity to be dads.
And there's even a number of couples in there that are wanting to go down the surrogacy path and then, you know, ask questions, navigate it. You know, a lot of couples will either do it in the US, you know, or Canada, like we have done. It's sort of a good community that you can share thoughts and chat about things from things like schools and visas and things like that as well.
It's like a parent support group.
It is.
But
It is.
for same-sex couples.
And pre-COVID, we joined just before COVID, but we were told that there was more meetups before that. But, you know, we've still met up with a few couples, you know.
Do you have play dates?
Well, yes, we have, and it's really, really sweet. Tyler's a hugger, so he likes to go in and hug the other kids, and, you know, it's really good, and you can sit down and chat, and we've made some good friends out of that as well.
May I ask some possibly uncomfortable questions that may be intrusive? I just want to throw these questions out there, maybe in the mind of the listener as well, right? Is your marriage recognized here in Singapore?
No. I'm single, and Andrea's single. I am the friend or the work colleague.
Yeah, and Tyler, even though my name is on his birth certificate, in Singapore he is the dependent of Cameron.
Yeah, so he's seen as my child.
Yeah.
So technically, Andre, you don't have legal rights to Tyler as your kid.
That's a grey area.
Yeah.
I would probably say, in terms of legal things, powers attorneys and stuff that's in place, then he would.
Yeah.
But whether or not doctors and that chose to recognise if there was ever an issue could be another question that I'm not
I think
sure
so
of.
far, I mean, when we have gone to the doctors for Tyler, I mean, they have never said, "Oh, you're not the father." But I've never had that before. They've always been very accepting.
We've had a receptionist try and match him up with her daughter and show photos. Well, see my daughter? Around the same age. Nice couple.
It's so cute.
Yeah. We've obviously had other people who look at us and we just go,
Yeah. When we first came with Tyler, he'd be in the stroller and we'd be walking, let's say, down Orchard Road, and the Singapore crane neck would kick in because they would look at the stroller, look at me, look at Andre, and then the crane neck would look into the stroller to look at Tyler. And then there was a blankness, like you could see the hamster running, trying to work out how this was actually working. And, we've been out together and we've had people say to us, "Oh, you've given the wives a day off today, have you?" Or when we've been looking to rent here in Singapore, the question comes from real estate agents, "Where's the mother?" And, that got a bit hard to explain. So in the end, we just say, "She's dead." And then that just shuts it down, which is, it's just,
If not, there'll be like an ongoing kind of conversation about, is she going to be living here and blah, blah, blah. She needs to be on the lease.
We've been asked, one of the things that I found the most offensive is when a landlord wanted a copy of Tyler's birth certificate to determine whether or not they would let us rent the place.
What is that going to do with anything?
Correct.
Yeah.
No
This is
problem.
being nosy, and I just want to know, like, what's the relationship between, like, the occupants in who's going to be living in their place.
It's beyond the level of intrusiveness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is none of their business.
Yeah.
There's been those sort of things. It's been interesting. A lot of Singaporeans stare, We had a case in point where we were coming back from Changi Airport on the bus with Andre's sister and her best friend. And we were pointing at each other, seats for four, and Tyler was being shared between us on the bus ride back. Andre and I and Tyler got off at Suntec, and Andre's sister messages and goes, "Oh my God, you've got no idea the looks that you were getting as you were getting off the bus for taking Tyler. They were looking at us and then they were kind of thinking, where are these people kidnapping a child?" And it was very...
All these are very mild anyway.
Yeah.
We'll probably get worse, like, maybe somewhere else. Yeah, but in Singapore, I think a lot of people just silently judge people. Like, they just sit there and they just, like, stare.
Like they know maybe a scene from Modern Family, a few characters from Modern Family, but not right in front of our eyes. And it must have been quite a shock. Another question is, how does Tyler call, instead of sort of mommy and daddy, how does he say, is it like
Daddy and
Daddy
Papa.
is Cam. Cam is daddy. I'm Papa. Yeah, but when he goes to school, obviously, like, the school system obviously teaches them dad and mom and mommy, daddy and stuff like that. Before we had Tyler, we said to each other, hey, look, this thing is going to be so different when he comes into the world. It's not going to be two of us anymore. There's going to be one more defenseless little person coming into the world. And so we have got to be the protector. Let's just get ready and put on our armor, because whatever that comes to us, we'll have to deal with it. Yeah. So regardless, like, whatever arrows that people throw at us or shoot at us, that we have to deal with it, just because we love this little boy.
Yeah.
He
is the center of our world, really. And that's
it changes perspective on everything.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing. When you've got a child, and I'm sure straight couples say this as well, the love you get for that child, you really can't describe until you're in that moment, because it's a whole different level.
Back then, when we were looking for a place, Tyler couldn't speak. So we didn't have to say anything about daddy or papa.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to take him to any viewings, he'll be like, daddy, papa.
So we don't.
So we don't. Yeah. So we don't. Yeah. So he stays somewhere else, and then we do all the viewings and stuff like that. So it'll be easier for us to manage it.
Okay. Survival skills. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta.
Well, you've got to work the system effectively
Yeah.
here, and that's what it is.
You gotta game the system.
It's really, and it's sad, but the game we're playing here effectively.
What if one day those arrows come for Tyler? You know, someone at school says something nasty to him
that's a
about
very good
him
question.
having two dads. Have you role played that situation and how you're gonna react to it and how you're gonna have that conversation with him eventually when he's
We feel
old
that
enough?
he will have to he'll have his little armor as well.
Yeah.
But we just have to make sure that it's based on facts, and we have to educate him about his family, what other not only our family but also what's out there as well. He can't be so narrow-minded,
And he needs to know he's loved, and that's the important thing. And yes, I'm sure kids will be cruel. We've all been to school. We all know how cruel kids can be. I guess we're kind of hopeful that things will slowly change in terms of attitudes from younger generations of being a little more accepting. I don't think there's going to be a big leap, but as Tyler gets older, going through that, it may not be as bad. We will protect him where we can, as any parent would, and always be there.
Hands down, you're two of the bravest people I've ever met. Be it sort of the love for each other and also having to do whatever it takes to take care of your child, to show your child this world that may have been mean to you at times, this world.
Yeah.
And also to navigate the system, to navigate families, different cultures, different territories. What would you say to the person listening to this episode right now who maybe thought of, I want to name my child this, or I'm going to take my child to dance class, and my child's going to see life in a whole different way because I wish I had more of that growing up. Like, they wanted to be a parent, but they have let that dream go because they've just learned that this is Singapore. I don't think I can get out, and this is unfortunately my future and trajectory.
Basically, what would you say to Joshua Simon?
No. I mean, like, I'm not the only one. And that is the truth. That is the truth.
It's a little bit of me also.
Yeah, because even like with my partner, right? I know deep down he wants to be a dad, but he doesn't even want to admit it, and he doesn't want to entertain that thought. And I can tell, right?
But I want to see Joshua Simon as a dad, and that's if we have to help with that project, we will.
You can join the support group. Think about it.
Yeah. No, I think if you want something so badly, don't give it up. If you give up just because the system says no, you're just not giving yourself the opportunity. You're just giving up.
Ways and means to achieve your goal, and communication is a big part of it. The two of you or any couple need to be open and honest and have that conversation and say, well, do you want to have kids? Okay, we both do. Is there a way we can achieve that?
Yeah. How much do you want kids?
Yeah, and how much do you want kids?
How much you can just say, I want kids because I can see myself being, like having a child beside me. But there's so much more than that. And that's something that you need to talk about.
It's going to take a lot from you, isn't it?
Exactly.
And like you said, it's expensive.
Yes.
But it's also going to draw from a lot of strength, and you have to be ready for that, right?
It's also
and
responsibility for another human being's life, right?
Yeah. The biggest thing as well, I think, for a lot of gay men is that if they will have kids, they will have to sacrifice a lot. And that is something where I feel that the sacrificing is difficult.
And with regards to being here in Singapore, there are ways to do it, even if it means that you look to relocate somewhere else, if you want a child, and you want to be a dad and that is a goal, pursue it. Don't let it go.
I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are the SG Boys.
That little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys.
The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.